I'm Paul Coby. I'm Group CIO for Persimmon Homes. So I wrote 50 things I wish I'd known before I became a CIO because so many things come at you when you're a CIO. There's a lot of challenges, a lot of experience, and I've been really lucky to be CIO in British Airways and John Lewis and Johnson Matthey and now Persimmon Homes. Been very fortunate to do that. But what I wanted to do was to, I admit, partly for my own sake, but also for others, to try and pull the key learnings and some of the key stories out of that. Well, I mean, fun in the role is new technology, is sort of innovation. I always think, being a CIO, on one hand, you're running the technology, and a lot of that's about modernising it, fixing it, getting it to run well, dealing with sort of those sort of issues, and that's sort of interesting, important. But the fun stuff is, how do I push the boundaries with the business? There's a new technology coming along. We've been talking today, like everybody does, about generative AI. Does that have any meaning for our business? How could we use it? How could we use proof of concepts on that? So the fun stuff at work is applying technology, innovative ideas. How can we make a difference? We're running proofs of concept. We're looking at how you can visualize your new house you're thinking of buying. How you could actually do a little sketch of what you thought the room would look like. The AI will be able to take that, turn that into a 3D model. You could say, I'd like to look at that in green or with wallpaper and move the furniture around. So we think this has the potential, and we're testing it, to really flexibly, really easily help people visualize how they can what they would like their new house to look like. So we're testing that. Another really interesting sort of area is how we can use it to support our people in terms of things like building regulations or health and safety. So instead of having to sort of search in a very clunky way and get a list of 10 items, let's say you wanted to know how I should deal with an oil spill. And the sort of tests that we've run show that you can produce a advice from that using a limited piece of data from our instructions on how you do this, and that will give you very quickly a useful answer which will then cite. Now, the things you need to watch out for here are, this is not dealing with like GPT, the whole internet. This is actually working off our data and the walls around our data, so we know we can trust that. Because I think, there are many upsides of GAI, and I think it will help humans perform more effectively and faster. But you really have to watch out for using data that may produce what's called hallucinations or incorrect answers. So I think it's always going to be really important that you have a human in the loop. There was our Black Friday sort of sale at midnight. It gone very well. I'd been in at midnight, went quite well through the night, came in at 6 o'clock, it picked up again, selling fantastically well. And then all graphs, and we had some rather nice graphs showing the things we were selling and where they were being sold sort of online. And then the graphs all flatlined. and we'd had a DDoS denial of service attack that actually took the site offline in the middle of Black Friday. So that was a moment. I mean, how do we manage it? Well, we were very fortunate, and we had a very strong and good team of IT operations. We had a good set of partners in terms of cyber defences. So we worked out what it was, and we were able, and when I say we, I mean the experts, were able to divert the malicious traffic and then block it, and then within a relatively small number of minutes come back on air. But I think that's a wonderful example of why deep technology skills matter. And I always say that IT is a team sport. And, I was the figurehead, as CIO for the IT function there in terms of, how well it was all going. But I'm also the figurehead for when something very seriously goes wrong. And you are then dependent on the capability and skills, commitment, clear thinking of the people in your team. And, because we had all the key experts there, we, had an operations room that was running, and we had all the tools sort of measuring. We could see what was happening and were able to deal with it. But it was one of those things you don't forget very quickly. As CIO, the role has become more central, or recognised as more central. I was very lucky in that my first job as CIO at British Airways, we were immediately faced by the what was then called the dot-com revolution. So kind of IT mattered. It was front and centre of how we re-engineered the business and how we changed the business, and that was very helpful. And I think what I hadn't realised was that was a bit of a particular experience from airlines travel sector. Similarly, John Lewis, it was here comes Amazon. The world is changing. We have to change the way that we do business. People are going to want to buy from John Lewis online, and so forth. I think now, when you talk to CIOs, they are central to the business. There is that recognition that, as you said, that excellent word, enabler. IT is the key enabler. It will help you change, the business. Whether that's about your customers are changing, they want to relate to you differently, or whether you need to run the business more efficiently and effectively and apply data and analytics and all of those things. So I think there's that recognition that we are central, which I guess I've been lucky to be from the start. But I think everybody feels that now. So I guess, really care about the technology, be excited about the technology. It's changing, it's fantastic. But, a lot of the core things just don't change. So locking into the strategy of the business is absolutely important. Why programs go right, and some of the things we've talked about, why things go wrong, haven't changed also. If you want to transform your business, don't do it as IT. You just can't do it on your own. The whole business has got to change. It's about doing all that. I think there's one I like, which is try to be human. It's a leadership role. There's nothing wrong, with showing how you feel about it, or indeed when you're under pressure, recognizing you're under pressure. And then I think the other thing, and we did touch on it, is IT is a team sport. And we're all fortunate to have some brilliant people who work in your team, and they do fantastic work. But actually, for that fantastic to work, for that wonderful new app, or for that very smart piece of GAI to go forward, it's got to be supported by the people who are running the databases. The networks have got to work. The kit's got to work. One of the things I'm dealing with at the moment, connectivity's got to work. We have 250 sites around the country. Each of them have got a construction central point, and there's a sales cabin there. The connectivity's been awful. We're fixing that. But, for all the wonderful new apps that we're working, that's got to be there. So remember that, all parts of technology work. It's a team sport, and celebrate that. Oh, it's great fun because you meet old friends, old colleagues, and I've been around a lot, so there are quite a lot of them there, and some really nice to meet some new people, and the topics have been good. It's and we're here at Abbey Road, so what's not to like?